Hey guys, meteorologist Doug Hetty. It is a Wednesday afternoon, of course. Today we're going to be covering severe weather. Big severe weather outbreak is going to be ongoing as we go through the afternoon into the evening and the overnight hours for us tonight. Weather 2020 video, of course. You can check out weather2020.com. We mainly do long range forecasting, but we also do short range across the Central Plains or really anywhere that weather is going on. But Weather 2020, if you sign up for the Global Predictor, you can get your long-range forecast 6 months in advance anywhere in the world. Huge shout out to my boys, Superior Roofing and Construction, a four-state premier roofing contractor. They're local to Joplin, Missouri, 7th and High Street, but they service Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. Numbers right there on the screen if you have any roofing needs, especially with severe weather, which is coming up. All right, so let's jump right into it. So we're going to break down this afternoon what is going to happen, what's going to happen this evening, what is going to happen tonight. And then, of course, we'll take a look at your Halloween as well. All right, so here's what we got going on today. So we have an elevated risk, meaning a level 3 out of 5. So this is into the orange, and then in the yellow is a 2 out of 5, and the darker green is a 1 out of 5 for severe weather. But obviously it's kind of like a bullseye, so that's where the greater threat of severe weather is going to be. Let me zoom in on this just a bit. All right, so Wichita to Oak City, Joplin to Kansas City. In fact, I'll even go in a little bit tighter here. So really from Manhattan to Topeka, Lawrence, Kansas City, up towards St. Joe. South, Nevada, Pittsburgh, Joplin, Bartlesville, Chinook, Coffeyville to Tulsa, just north of Oak City. That is where that greater threat for severe weather is going to be as we go through the afternoon. Already we have showers and thunderstorms firing out across central Kansas, which was expected. Very windy, of course. Now, most of these storms are elevated base, meaning they're not surface-based. Surface-based storms are the ones where you get a lot of rotating storms. But these elevated storms, and they have a higher potential to at least produce hail with these storms. But once we get the surface-based storms, those are going to be the ones that we want to really keep our eyes on. But that's not going to occur until later on this afternoon. But you can see they're pretty electric storms. Look at our big upper-level trough, which is kicking out. Remember, in the cycling weather pattern, this system and all the systems that we are going to see will repeat. So we are going to see these guys popping back up, most likely. This system is going to be returning right after Christmas into the beginning of the new year. And we have numerous systems which are lining up behind it. So that's going to give us a nice active stretch as we get into the winter months. But again, we want to focus on this today. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Showers and thunderstorms, Omaha, all the way down through central Kansas. And again, these are pretty good thunderstorms. They're not severe, but they're pretty good thunderstorms. Elevated base, some small hail all the way down toward Wichita. But the main front is still back here, east of Dodge City, west of Salina. So that, as that rolls east, and then we have a dry line which drops south, that's really where we want to watch for these storms to pop up later on today. In fact, let me zoom out here just a bit. I think the greater potential for possible tornadic activity is going to be out through here, even though it's going to be a little bit more isolated down here, a little more concentrated up here. But then we're going to have mainly wind and hail, but still tornadic threat as you push a little bit farther toward the east. So a lot to watch. All right, let's drop through time. I'm going to go a little bit later here. Let's go to about 4 p.m. At this point in time, now ahead of all this, we may have a few random showers and maybe even a couple little thunderstorms that try to pop up. Anything that would pop up could produce some small hail. But at this point in time, we are now starting to see the stronger storms getting going. So west of Topeka, Manhattan, Salina, Wichita, and these will most likely be supercells. So the ones that do fire will have a tornadic potential at this time. Let's continue. Now things really get going here. So now we are looking 6:30 p.m. Thunderstorms getting into St. Joe. Severe weather into Topeka. All the way down that I-35 corridor. And again, especially these discrete guys, the ones that really aren't in a line. So something like this. This is going to have, or this. These will have the better potential to see something that would rotate because they're kind of out ahead of the line. But showers and thunderstorms, severe weather. So here's about 6 p.m. continuing across the region, south of Wichita. Also, these discrete cells, so you can see again, kind of north of Oak City. Any of these guys out front, those are going to be the ones that had the better chance to produce some tornadic activity. All right, let's continue through the evening. Let's go to about 8 or 9 p.m. The reason I'm saying 8 or 9 ahead of the clock is because this model likes to run a little fast, so I have to always project, timing. All right, so at this point in time, the sun is set. Now we switch over, instead of any discrete supercells ahead of that line, we switch over to a QLCS, which is a quasi-linear convective system, or a line of storms, but you get a lot of rotation within that line. And that is what I expect to happen. So this is going to be a line of storms with bow echoes when the line kind of curls out, so that air pushing in behind it, where you can get some pretty intense winds, but you get a lot of spin-up tornadoes with that. And it's going to be dark, so we want to watch that. All right, so these storms now starting to get into the west side of Tulsa. So this is 8 or 9 p.m. in through southeastern Kansas, Coffeyville, Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, all the way up to Lewisburg, getting into the Kansas City Metro at this time, right along that I-35 corridor, all the way up through north central parts of Missouri. Let's continue. Storms push east. So by 10 or 11 p.m., now they're in north central Missouri. Let's go farther south. Warrensburg, Sedalia. This intense line now has worked from Iola, Chanute through Nevada into Stockton Lake. The intense line with, again, severe potential winds and tornadic activity, smaller spin-up tornadoes from Lamar, Nevada, getting into the Joplin Metro, Pittsburgh, all the way down through Baxter Springs, Galena, all the way back to Veneta. It's now at this time pushing through Tulsa, so you can see those very intense, really storms right along this line. After this point in time, now that it's going to start to work south of the I-44 corridor, I think we're going to see a slow, gradual depletion of these storms. Still a very strong line of storms, but once it passes through Joplin, then they will start to weaken. Still very intense once you get through northwest Arkansas, Springfield, Branson, but the severe threat will start to slowly drop. All right, so let's go to about 1 o'clock in the morning. Now these storms are getting into northwest Arkansas, most likely severe, but the main threat is going to be gusty winds, and the tornado threat will really start to drop at this point in time. Storms continue all the way through east central Oklahoma, all the way down to Wichita Falls and Lawton. Getting into Fort Smith, these storms are now pushing out of Joplin through Monette, Aurora, Table Rock, Springfield, Branson, and still continuing all the way up through the Lake of the Ozarks, Columbia, all the way up to Macon, Kurtzville, Hannibal, and then all the way up through eastern parts of Iowa. But at this time, so now we're at 1:30 in the morning, we're continuing that downward trend of this severe weather starting to die. Let's continue through the night. Now we're talking good old storms with a few random severe thunderstorms. Pushing through St. Louis, here's about 3, 4, 5 in the morning, getting into West Plains, north central Arkansas, and extending all the way back through southeastern parts of Oklahoma. And then you can see the line just kind of falls apart by morning with just convection, showers, thunderstorms through most of Arkansas, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Memphis. Not much in the way of severe weather. Still a little bit more defined once you get up through southern Illinois and western parts of Indiana. But overall, this line is falling apart. All right, of course, tomorrow is Halloween, so I want to at least look at that real quick. So let's go forward here. Let's go into Halloween afternoon. Look at this. Temperatures great. 68 Bentonville, 66 Tulsa, 59 in Salina, 57 in Columbia. And then let me move forward to trick-or-treating time. It's going to be chilly, but it's not bad. 50s to 60s once you get down through Oklahoma and Arkansas. I don't want to keep you guys on here too long. I was going to talk about our next system, but let's just kind of glance at it real quick, just so I don't have to leave you on here too long. But look at the rain. It repeats. Next system comes out Saturday, Sunday. But I did want to show you this. Here's our rainfall potential as we go through the next 6 days. And this could put a massive dent into our drought. And we need this. A lot of areas are going to pick up 4 to 6 inches of rain. And we'll dig into this system tomorrow and Friday. Of course, today I mainly wanted to focus on the severe weather, which is working in tonight. All right, guys, any questions, comments, leave it in the comment section below. Make sure you like, subscribe. We'll chat later.